It is late at night. A light still lives in a small house. The radio plays a familiar soft tune. Then suddenly, the house goes quiet. The music stops. The light winks out. No one knows why that silence fell. That sudden, unexplained quiet is the beginning of so many mysteries that haunt our history. People vanish from their daily lives without a trace. Important pieces of evidence, the very keys to understanding, go missing as if they never existed. Clues seem to point us down a clear and certain path. Then, just as we get close, the path simply stops. We are left standing in the dark with only our questions. This essay tells the short, true stories of such cases. Each story is a collection of fragments, pieced together from what was left behind. Each tale will show you the hard facts that we know for certain. These are the things investigators could hold, could measure, could prove. That's where we begin. In the cold November of 1872, a brigantine ship named the Mary Celeste set sail. It departed from the busy docks of New York. Its destination was Genoa, Italy. On board were Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife, their young daughter, a crew of 7 experienced sailors. The ship was in excellent condition, a sturdy vessel prepared for the long journey across the Atlantic. The cargo hold was filled with over 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol. The weather was fair for the season. The sea was calm. Everything pointed towards a routine and uneventful voyage from one continent to another, a simple delivery of goods. Weeks later, a passing ship called the Dei Grazia spotted the Mary Celeste. It was drifting aimlessly in the vast expanse of the ocean. The sails were partially set but tattered, suggesting it had been through some rough weather. Yet the ship itself was entirely seaworthy. When the crew of the Dei Grazia boarded, they found a ghost ship. Not a single person was on board. The captain's logbook was found, with the last entry made 10 days prior. It noted no distress, no unusual events, just the ship's position. The ship was clean and orderly. The cargo was almost entirely intact and undisturbed. Money, pipes, rain gear remained. In the galley, there was a 6-month supply of food, fresh water, mostly untouched. The ship's sextant, chronometer, vital navigational tools were gone. The single lifeboat was also missing. There were no signs of a struggle, no bloodstains, no clear evidence of violence or piracy. In the late 16th century, a group of English settlers sought a new life across the ocean. They arrived on Roanoke Island, off the coast of what is now North Carolina. It was the year 1587. Led by Governor John White, more than 100 men, women, and children established a settlement. They built homes, tried to cultivate the land, and forged relationships, sometimes tense, with local Native American tribes. Low supplies forced White to sail to England for food, tools, and reinforcements, but war with Spain delayed his return. 3 long years passed before White returned in 1590. He found the settlement completely deserted. Houses had been carefully dismantled. No bodies, no sign of battle. One clue, a single word carved into a post, Croatoan, and nearby letters, Crow, on a tree. Croatoan was the name of a nearby island, now Hatteras, and the friendly tribe there. White had told them to carve their destination and a Maltese cross if in danger. There was no cross. Bad weather prevented White from sailing to confirm. No definitive archaeological evidence has proven assimilation. The missing piece is the final fate of every single person who left their English homes and vanished from history. It's a haunting gap. In the winter of 1959, a group of 9 experienced hikers set out on an expedition. They were students and graduates from the Ural Polytechnical Institute. Their leader, Igor Dyatlov, was well respected. They planned a difficult route and were well equipped and trained to handle it. When they did not return or send a signal by the agreed-upon date, a search and rescue operation was launched. Search teams located their abandoned campsite on the slopes of Kholat Shakal, Dead Mountain. The tent was heavily damaged, sliced open from the inside. All their belongings remained neatly inside. Shoes, warm coats, supplies. Footprints showed they fled in a hurry. Some wore only socks, some were barefoot. Tracks led toward a dense forest. 2 bodies were found under a large pine tree, dressed only in underwear, with a small fire site. 3 more lay between the tree and the tent, as if trying to return. The remaining 4 were found 2 months later, buried under more than 10 feet of snow in a nearby ravine. These 4 had strange, horrific injuries. 1 woman missing her tongue, 1 missing her eyes, 1 man with a severely fractured skull, 2 with major chest fractures like a high-speed crash. No signs of a struggle with other people, no evidence of others nearby. Some clothing showed low levels of radiation. An avalanche theory faltered. The tent was not buried, and the tracks did not fit. Other ideas range from a secret military weapons test to an encounter with an unknown creature. The biggest questions: why cut out of their only shelter and run into freezing cold without proper clothing? And what could cause such severe internal injuries with little external trauma? So that's the core of it. On the morning of December 1st, 1948, a man's body was discovered. He was lying on the sand at Somerton Park Beach, just south of Adelaide, Australia. He was dressed impeccably in a suit and tie, with polished shoes. His head was propped against the seawall as if resting. No signs of struggle or visible injuries. He carried no wallet, no identification, and all clothing labels had been cut off. In his pockets, a used bus ticket, a rail ticket, a comb, and some chewing gum. An autopsy could not determine cause of death. Poison was suspected, but no trace was found. His last meal was a pasty, eaten a few hours before death. He was in excellent physical condition. Fingerprints were sent worldwide. No country had any record of him. Investigators found a tiny rolled piece of paper hidden in a fob pocket. It read, "Tamam shud," Persian for "it is ended." The scrap was traced to a rare rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. After a nationwide search, a man produced a copy he found in his unlocked car near the beach. Inside were faint pencil markings, a local nurse's phone number, and what appeared to be a complex, unbreakable code. The nurse denied knowing him but seemed distressed. Despite decades of effort, the code remains unsolved. The missing pieces are monumental: the man's name, his origin, the meaning of the code, and how he died. Was he a heartbroken lover, a Cold War spy, or something else entirely? Who was this man, and why was his end so meticulously anonymous? Well, those questions remain. Amelia Earhart was more than just a pilot. She was a global icon. In the 1930s, she was among the most famous women in the world. In 1937, she set out to become the first woman to circumnavigate the globe. She and navigator Fred Noonan completed over 22,000 miles. They flew from America across the Atlantic, Africa, Asia. The final, most dangerous leg meant crossing the vast Pacific, relying on tiny island refueling stops. On July 2, 1937, they departed Lae, New Guinea for Howland Island, a 2-mile-long speck, less than a mile wide. The cutter Itasca stood by to guide with radio signals. Earhart reported clouds, believed they were close, but could not see the island. Her transmissions grew weaker and then stopped completely. The largest sea search to that point scoured 250,000 square miles. They found nothing. No oil slick, no wreckage. The official conclusion: out of fuel, a crash into the ocean, a descent into depths that hide all trace. Yet theories persist that they missed Howland and landed on Nikumaroro, about 350 miles southeast, supported by an aluminum fragment, a woman's shoe part, a sextant box. Some believe they survived as castaways, sending faint distress calls heard around the world. The great missing piece is the final resting place of her plane, and whether they met a quick end at sea or endured a slow, tragic fate on a deserted island. In the bright morning of January 15, 1947, a mother and child in Los Angeles made a horrifying discovery in a vacant lot. It was the body of a young woman. The victim was 22-year-old Elizabeth Short. The press nicknamed her the Black Dahlia, citing her dark hair and rumored preference for black clothing. The crime was exceptionally brutal. Her body surgically severed, blood drained. The case became a media sensation. Papers competed for every lurid detail. More than 50 people confessed, men and women, and each confession was dismissed. The killer seemed to revel in attention. The examiner received a package containing Short's documents. Gasoline used to destroy prints, taunting cut-and-paste letters from newspapers and magazines. Public fear intensified. The killer became a faceless boogeyman. Despite one of the largest LAPD investigations, no one was arrested or charged. Over years, suspects ranged from doctors to drifters to the famous. Records were lost or mishandled. Witnesses died. The missing pieces, the killer's identity, the motive for such a gruesome public display, and why no one was ever brought to justice. Some stories attract answers. This one attracts only more questions. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, a reign of terror gripped Northern California. A serial killer named Zodiac began brutal, random attacks, targeting couples in secluded areas using gun or knife. Confirmed attacks: 5 deaths, 2 survivors. He claimed as many as 37. What set him apart were taunting letters to newspapers, including the San Francisco Chronicle, and to the police. He wrote, "This is the Zodiac speaking," signed with a crossed circle, and enclosed a victim's bloody shirt piece. He demanded publication of complex ciphers, threatening more killings if refused. The first, longest cipher was solved within a week by a school teacher and his wife, revealing a rambling confession about collecting slaves for the afterlife. Several ciphers remained unsolved for decades. The 340 cipher fell only in 2020 to amateur codebreakers. Despite massive investigation, identity was never confirmed. Primary suspect Arthur Lee Allen was ID'd by a survivor and wore a watch with the symbol, but his handwriting and DNA did not match. Other suspects surfaced, but no definitive evidence linked any to all crimes. The biggest missing piece: the killer's true name. Who was the man who terrorized a region, then vanished, leaving a puzzle that still fascinates and frustrates investigators today? These stories are all different. They come from different times, different places, separated by oceans and centuries, ships, settlements, mountainsides, city streets. Yet, they all share a common, unsettling thread. They show us how a few small missing facts can cause an entire story to go dark. A lost lifeboat can hide the fate of a crew. A single carved word can obscure the destiny of 100 people. A torn piece of paper can become an unsolvable puzzle that lasts for generations. We keep looking, finding answers, digging through archives, testing old evidence, chasing down faint clues. But sometimes, the world simply hides its edges from us. A missing piece fundamentally changes how we see the whole story. A clear photograph can prove where someone was. A name on a document can link a person to a place and time. One lost item, one unheard conversation, one unwritten note. Families live with the void. Historians seek truth. Police chase justice just out of reach. New tools shine light. Modern DNA, advanced sonar, satellite imaging. But some things may stay unknown. Time erases tracks and memories. Nature reclaims. Paper crumbles.